Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into the world of digital warfare to talk about one of the most critical roles out there, the SOC Analyst. Ever wonder who's standing on that digital wall, protecting a company's most valuable data from a devastating cyber attack? Well, you're about to find out.
Our guide for this journey is Mustafa Zaghloul, a senior threat detection engineer over at Cisco. And, his path into cybersecurity, it wasn't exactly what you'd call conventional. He actually started out his career building Android apps, but then a stint in the Army threw him into a real-world security operations center, and, well, in his own words, he was totally hooked.
And I mean, just look at this timeline. We're talking about a seriously rapid progression. After his first formal training in 2020, he just shot up the ranks. From a Tier 1 analyst at a commercial bank to a SOC engineer for the entire banking sector in Egypt, and now a senior role at Cisco. It's a career path that really just goes to show you how incredibly in demand these skills are right now.
So, people like Mustafa spend their days defending something called an SOC. But what is this security fortress we're talking about? Let's break it down. What exactly is a security operations center, and what do they actually do?
Okay, so at its heart, a SICO is basically a centralized command center. It's this dedicated team, right? And their entire mission, day in and day out, is to protect an organization's digital life. We're talking data, systems, reputation, the whole shebang, by constantly watching for and responding to any hint of a threat.
Now, any successful SOC is built on three essential pillars. First, you've got the people, the skilled analysts who are the real brains of the operation. Then there's the technology, all the cool tools that give them eyes on the network. And finally, the procedures. These are the established playbooks that make sure every threat is handled the right way every single time. And you absolutely need all three. Take one away and the whole fortress can come crumbling down.
All right, let's dig into that first pillar, the people. Who are these cyber defenders? Who actually makes up a SOC team, and what part does each person play in fending off the bad guys?
Okay, think of the SOC team like an escalation ladder. At the very bottom, you have your Tier 1 analysts. These folks are the first line of defense. They are sifting through, and I'm not kidding, potentially thousands of alerts a day, using playbooks to figure out what's just noise and what's a real threat. If they spot something fishy, they escalate it up the ladder to Tier 2. These are the deep investigators, more experienced analysts who know the company's network inside and out. And at the very top, that's your Tier 3 analyst, the expert hunter. These are the folks who don't just wait for alarms to go off. They're out there proactively hunting for hidden threats.
Now, this brings up a question I hear all the time. What's the difference between a SOC analyst and a SOC engineer? Well, think of it this way. The analyst is the detective. Their job is to look at the clues and answer one question. Is this a real attack? The engineer, on the other hand, is the toolsmith. Their job is to make sure the detectives have the best possible tools, asking, are our security systems working perfectly?
So this all sounds pretty cool, right? But how do you actually start your own journey? Let's lay out a practical roadmap inspired by Mustafa's own path that's perfect for anyone starting from scratch, especially if you don't have a huge budget for expensive training.
The path begins with the absolute fundamentals. First up, networking. You have to understand how data moves. Mustafa suggests studying for things like the CCNA, and guess what? There's a ton of free material online. Second, systems. You need to learn how servers and users are managed. Look into concepts like Active Directory. It's the backbone of most corporate networks. Third, get comfortable with Linux. So many security tools run on it, so you've got to know your way around the command line. And finally, and this is probably the most important part, get hands-on practice. Theory is great, but it's not enough. You need to use platforms like TryHackMe to apply what you've learned in real-world scenarios. And while you're learning all this stuff, please keep this incredible piece of advice from Mustafa in your head. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready to apply for a job, because that day is never going to come. You'll never feel totally ready. The key is to engage with an opportunity the moment you see it.
Okay, so how do you actually land that first job? You have to stand out. First, build connections. Get on LinkedIn, find people in the field, find a mentor. Second, build a profile that's more than just a list of certificates. This is where unique projects are huge. Write a blog post analyzing a hack. Build a simple security tool in Python. This is how you show, not just tell people what you can do. And that's what gets you noticed.
All right, we've covered the people, we've talked about the path to get there. Now let's geek out a little bit. Let's talk technology. What's in the digital toolkit, the tech arsenal of a SOC analyst?
The heart and soul of any SOC is the SIM. You could think of it as the central brain. It pulls in log data from literally everywhere, your firewalls, your servers, your laptop, you name it, and puts it all in one place. Its job is to connect the dots between all these different events to help analysts spot threats they'd never see otherwise. It basically turns the job from finding a needle in a haystack to having a giant magnet that just pulls the needle right out for you.
Next up is the EDR. This is a special piece of software, an agent, that gets installed on individual computers and servers, what we call the endpoints. So while the SIEM gives you that big picture, network-wide view, the EDR gives you a super detailed, microscopic view of exactly what's happening on one single machine, what files were created, what programs are running. It knows everything, and it's what lets an analyst do digital forensics on the fly.
So you've got the SIEM, which is great for detection, and the EDR for that deep investigation. But there's one more amazing tool that really acts as the glue for the entire operation. And that is the SOAR platform. Mustafa has this brilliant analogy for it. The SOAR is the orchestra conductor of the SOC. It connects to all the other instruments, the SIEM, the EDR, the firewalls, and it automates the response. So when an alert comes in, the SOAR can automatically run a playbook, like instantly blocking a malicious IP address or disabling a compromised user account. It makes the whole team faster, smarter, and way more efficient.
So let's be crystal clear. A SOAR is not a SIEM. They're partners, not the same thing. The SIEM's job is to detect. The SOAR's job is to respond. It's that simple. One finds the problem, and the other helps fix it automatically.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Being a SOC analyst is a constant challenge. You have to be a detective, a first responder, and a guardian of a company's entire digital world. The threats are always changing, they're always getting smarter. The only question left is, are you ready to be on that front line?